Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multifamily Legacy podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson. We have an excellent show today. I've got another one of my good friends from my Collective Genius group, and he's a straight up boss. And he's going to really bring some really good insight into rehab management, property management, and some things that they're doing. And he's doing it in the single family space, but a lot of these things, they truly overlap in what it takes to do commercial property management. Before we get to that, real quick, if you would like to learn how to be one of our investors in our deals, we have a process for that. And how you get to know us and we get to know you is by going to kahunainvestments.com. And when you get there, you're going to opt in. I'm going to give you my free book for doing it, and we're going to ask you financial questions. Why? Because the SEC makes us. We do have a membership site. It's a membership process, and we will get to know you and create a substantive relationship. And at that point, once we've created that relationship, we will then be able to give you access to any future deals that we may have. So go on over to kahunainvestments.com and check us out. So with that said, let me bring my guest on the show, RJ Pepino. He is one of the co-founders of Columbus Turnkey Properties. They have, he's got a bachelor's in marketing management from Youngstown State University. He's been doing this for, gosh, you've done over 500 deals, haven't you, RJ?
Yeah, we've been doing this a while. Yeah, in Columbus.
And he's just and him and his partner, they've been crushing it. So I've already had his partner on, but RJ is kind of the guy that's behind the scenes, right? He's not out there raising money. He's the one that's making things work. And I'm telling you, that is the most critical part in it's operations. Operations is where you make or break deals most of the time. So with that said, RJ, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Corey, thanks for having me on here. I know we've been trying to connect. We had to reschedule this a couple times, and you're busy, and I'm busy, so I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to adding any value that I can to your audience. I went to your meeting and learned a lot about some of the stuff that we're doing in our business from an apartment standpoint. It's amazing to see what you guys have done in the last couple of years that I've known you. So super pumped to be here, man. And it's good to see you.
You've got something special going on too, dude. You're engaged, bro.
I know, man. I wish you could be there. I know you got some traveling going on, but it's
Yeah.
going to be fun.
I'll send you some money anyways.
I know that we're going to have a good time anyways, but
Yeah, I'm crushed,
you're
dude.
going out of town too, right?
I really wanted to be on that one. Yeah, we're gonna be in Paris, I think.
Oh man, we're gonna miss you
If it's
too.
any other place, I'd be there, man. Like I would miss.
I
So
know. I know. We're going to be in Europe too. So when you're probably coming back is when we're going to Italy for our honeymoon.
I'll right on. All right. Well, I'll give you some money to help get you there and at least buy a dinner.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. So tell me about what you guys doing in property management. Just give me your quick story, and then let's talk about like what the hell it is you're doing.
Yeah. So, I got started back in like '07, '08, and '07 I was reading books, and guess what book I read? Rich
Rich
Dad,
dad, poor dad.
Poor Dad. So I'm a byproduct of that. I get a phone call from my brother. I'm in college, right? And I'm just the tail end of college. I get this phone call from my brother saying, "Hey, man, you gotta read this book." He's a big book guy, and he was in Barnes and Noble, and he's like, "Rich Dad, Poor Dad." I'm like, "What is this?" He's like,
Yeah.
go pick it up, read it, and then let me know what you think of it. And we've always had an entrepreneurial type spirit in our family, and we were thinking about like maybe opening up a restaurant, right? I'm glad I didn't do that, but
Ooh, yeah. That's
he
work, baby.
he yeah, that's a whole nother animal. But turned me onto that book. I read it, and I'm like, this makes so much sense. The four quadrants, cash flow, being an investor. And I went to a seminar, and it was like the 3-day boot camp thing. where somebody's on stage selling the lifestyle, and I'm just like glued to the stage. And this guy, nothing fancy. This guy had been flipping properties, and then he was owning cash flow properties for passive income. And he was just showing all the cars and this lifestyle that he had. And I'm just like, wow, that's what I want. That's what's for me. And so that started my journey into getting started in a real estate. And my, fastest way that I saw to make money in it was flipping properties, wholesaling properties. So I got my start as a wholesaler, flipping, doing a lot of transactions. And matter of fact, we still do that today. It's a great source of fast revenue for your business. And so I started wholesaling properties for like 3 or 4 years. I had a different business partner then. And then it dawned on me that I was giving away the best deals, giving away the golden goose that's laying all those eggs. I talk, man, you're giving away the best deals that are going to be spitting off cash flow. And that's why I made that change in 2012. I'm like, I need to keep these. What am I going to do? Sell forever? And so I made that shift, and I partnered with Dave. If you guys don't know him, I'm sure you've probably seen some of the stuff out there, but high energetic guy, awesome, positive person. We had the same kind of game plan and mindset when we met in 2012, and we decided to buy homes in Columbus, Ohio. Started to hang on to these suckers. And that first year, we bought about 13 homes right off the bat. It was just like, oh, here's 13 homes. This is back then when you could walk up and down the street and buy stuff for under $20,000,
Yeah.
Those are the good old days. And so that's how we got our first kind of start into the rental business.
It's like that song, "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? Where have all the good deals gone?"
Yeah,
I'm not
right?
going to hit the high note, but yes.
Because those deals are so not there anymore. The market's changed.
Yeah.
But in those
what insight, bro? What insight? Like, so listen, I mean, I've been seeing this. I mean, I joined Collective Genius for I think the same time you guys did.
Yep.
And you saw me get roasted.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I got roasted harder than anybody's ever got roasted to come into that mastermind. But even then, I already knew cash flow is the way, and you guys were already doing cash flow too. But most people in that group are just buying and selling, and that's it. They're never keeping anything for themselves. Mm-hmm. And dude, that is where the money's made, is by keeping it. Man, you guys are starting to figure that out even more so today now than ever. I mean, you've really kind of taken that on and say, listen, this is where we are going, right?
Right. Yeah. And when we were talking in that meeting, I think you were one of the only guys there that was talking apartments, and it was such a new thing. Is before it became sexy. Everyone's selling the coaching stuff now. And it was just like just a mindset thing for us, because it's like, okay, we never even thought of that yet, right? We're still living in the single family space, and so that kind of opened up new doors, and that's why we went to your meeting and got the ins and outs and figured out, okay, so it's like a leverage play, and you're dealing with more units in one area. Really, it's what it is, and then. So, I mean, that was an amazing event, and we learned a lot. But you were one of the first guys in CG to really present how apartments.
I showed the way, man.
You showed the way, and so we're doing. We're buying. We're still going to buy single family homes. Our business and what we do today is that we are first and foremost a buy and hold. We're buy and hold guys.
Yep.
So that's the intent, and then our turnkey flip. So turnkey is kind of a loose term now. A lot of people saying they're selling turnkey rentals, and some of them aren't even doing the rehabs. But our definition of a turnkey is, we buy a distressed asset, we renovate it with standards, find the tenant, and then do the property management in-house for you, right? And so out of when we started buying those rental properties, we were the manager doing everything. Yeah. And the investors that we had that were looking for deals were like, what are you guys up to? I haven't seen deals in a while. And they were like, well, we're we're buying and holding. Well, we want to buy and hold some of the, ones that, so that's how this all came about. Came out of like, we weren't selling as many deals anymore. We started buying and holding, and we saw that there was still an opportunity there to make some pretty good money with flips. It was just a
Right.
different, it was just flipping rental properties. So our company is probably 80% now. We made a shift because we're at that point now where we've got cash flow coming in from all the rentals that are coming in to support our lifestyle and our staff. We're trying to keep it lean. That's the theme.
Yes.
Keep it lean, right? And then have all that cash flow. So now we're thinking, okay, so if we're going to be creating rental properties, we should just be keeping these for ourselves because that's that generation wealth
Yeah, man.
that that you teach, that we're all about, and that's why we're here talking today.
That's sexy, dude. Like
It
that's
is. It
a
really is. I mean, when you can keep that cash flow and also pull out some cash, a lot of people call that the Burr model. It's a beautiful thing. It's tax-free money.
yeah.
So, and that's the just the advantages of owning, rentals, whether it be single families or multi units.
Yeah.
Multi units, they may take a little longer to
You're
put
just becoming an
together.
investor. You're just becoming a true investor, right?
Right.
Like we all read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and what happens is we've become traders. I love saying it like that
Traders.
with a D. But if
Yeah.
you do it long enough, it feels like with an AI, a trader.
Yeah.
Because as a trader, you get taxed to all bejesus. But
Mm-hmm.
as an investor, there's tax benefits. You get depreciation. You get lots of other things. You have capital gains now instead of ordinary income, and everything starts to work better as you hold properties.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. And so we that's our model. We're all about fine tuning our rehab management. So I'm in the business. I oversee a lot of the renovations, the processes, all the properties that come in from we like to call it the assembly line, right at the start, comes in from acquisitions and it goes right into the rehab. I oversee that. And
So
then
let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about that little piece, right? So
yeah, yeah,
what's the
absolutely.
average deal look like? How do you do it? How do you take it
Well,
down? How do you like get stuff ordered from Lowe's?
yep, yep. Here we go. So here's how we have it set up. So we like to deal with the properties that are worth anywhere from 80 to like about 120,
Yep,
and they're going to rent for 800 to 1,300 a month.
yep.
And these are neighborhoods where there's a lot of pride of ownership, more owners than there are renters. And we like those neighborhoods. We call them the bread and butter or B class areas of Columbus.
Yep, yep.
Where you can collect the rent and everything is good at the end of the day, and you're not scared to go into those areas. So it once it hits, the we have pipeline meetings now on Monday. Once it hits the pipeline meeting that it's going to get closed on, um, we're set up to have our construction manager identify a crew to start on that project. So all of that scoping and getting bids together happens before that. And we're taking more of a proactive approach now these days so that when it closes, a crew starts there,
You're
right?
very lean. Yeah, you're real. Everybody's like, we've already been in the house. We know what it needs. We already have the list, right?
Yeah, and the most important thing that you can do, especially in rehab management, is definitely have that independent contractor um, paperwork signed with whoever's doing the job, whoever that GC is, and it should
So
have
you guys typically hire a GC, right? Is that what
we
you're
have a
doing?
GC model. Yeah,
Yeah,
the GC has their subs, right?
dude. I used to do it all myself, where I was the GC. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I had great subs, but it's like, gosh, damn, you really have to stay on top of your stuff
you
when you're
do,
doing six or
you
seven
do,
rehabs, right? You're like, because you're
right?
like drywall, 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 carpet, like paint, just everything has like a little, it's a procedure,
Right.
and
It
you
is a
can't go out of order, right?
no. You can't put the flooring in before you get all the mechanicals in and stuff like that, or
Yeah,
that.
man. Or you're just screwing the pooch, dude. It's like, hold on, because then it pisses everybody off.
Yeah, so I'm heavily involved in rehab management, and we have the GC model, and it's better for us because we can just have a clear understanding that, yeah, we know you're marketing it up a little bit. We want you to make money, but we need volume pricing because we're going to feed you not just one house every
Right.
quarter.
We're keeping you busy. You're RGC. You don't need to go anybody else. You work for us.
And what we're learning here is that that scope of work is kind of what we're doing now. It's called a rehab book, and we learned this from our good buddy in Chicago, is that we need to have the scope of work at the home so they clearly understand what they're doing. And it's also good for that construction manager to go through that house, open up that rehab book, and understand what's going on, what they've completed. Because,
Okay, so this is what's before you even get there. Someone's already created that scope of work.
right,
Here's the plan for this property.
right, this is the plan for the property. We have a construction schedule. So we like to break it down into four
Damn,
phases.
bro, you're doing it way. Yeah, this is sweet.
You have four phases, and every
RJ just became an operator.
this is it. I mean,
You know what
this
I'm saying? Like you all went special forces on me. You're like, hold on, bro. I mean, I'm not just a Marine.
yeah,
I'm kind of special forces here.
yeah. So we have it
It's
there, clear as
tactical.
day, clear as day. This is the plan. And speaking of special forces, there's a good book out there. It's called Extreme Ownership, right? It talks about one of the chapters is all about communication, and that's what we want to improve. So if we have the scope of work at the house, then the subs see what the scope is and they know what to follow, and they're
They
not
don't
going to.
have to sit there and try to figure it out or guess, right? Because worst case, they guess and they guess wrong.
Right. And we're talking about, we're not adding additions. We're not the HGTV flip this house
Right.
guy.
You're not building, taking down all kinds of walls and stuff. You're
No.
just like, dude, what's there is there. Let's just make it new.
Right. It's safe and functional is all we do.
Yeah. We don't
They,
want 12-inch tiles. We want at least a little bit bigger, right? Or the new,
yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of our renovations they're for the long
But
term.
these are for turnkey, right? So like, or
Sure.
you're making them for rentals.
Mhm.
So in that model, it's not like taking it to this highest level of finish, right? It's what
Right.
do you guys call it? Like clean, safe, dependable?
Exactly. It's safe and functional.
Yeah, safe and functional.
Safe and functional, and it's still going to look good. It's still got to appraise, when you go out and refinance. So, but we're not putting, the most expensive, lavish fixtures. It's not going to matter. It's not going to increase your rental, right? It's not
Yeah,
going to.
rent's rent, right? As long as it all works and
Mhm.
it doesn't look junky or like yeah.
Yeah.
As long as
So,
your tub's not green
right,
or
right. So,
yellow or you know.
like, if I showed you guys before and after pictures, it's the same type of house.
Yeah.
It really is. We have it down to a T. We know what materials we're going to order. We know the paint schemes that we're going to have.
Where do you
And
order your stuff at?
so a lot of the stuff that we have is through Home Depot and Barnett.
Okay.
There's other suppliers locally that we use for, um,
Do you
you
have
know,
SKU codes for all that stuff? Have you like walked Home Depot and got all your SKUs and
here's
and
what
know
we
your
did.
prices?
In the beginning, when we were doing this, we really uh, had like three or five items that we would kind of use for the lights and fixtures and stuff like that. And we did at the end of that year, we looked at kind of what we were spending the most on, and also went to our rep. We worked with our Home Depot rep and said, "Hey, can we get a better price on this line item?" Right, and that's all we knew back then. And I mean, we were only doing like 20 a year. Now we're like at a different level. Now we can go to Home Depot corporate and get discounts. But what we found is that Barnett actually has some pretty good discounts right now, and they got bought out by Home Depot.
Oh,
So
okay, so Barnett.
Barnett, yeah.
I don't
So
know Del Barnett is because I'm from. We don't have those here, but I
so
get it.
it's just kind of getting to going direct to the wholesalers
But
basically.
it's straight up just finding the right place. Yeah, the right. It's really just finding the right supply chain. I call it a
Yeah,
supply chain,
yeah,
right? And where
right.
like this is, and then setting the standard of this is what it looks like almost pretty much every time,
Every
right?
time. This is what we
Here's the
use.
carpet. Here's the fixtures. Here's the bubbles, right?
Hmm.
Here's the smoke detectors. Here's here's the fart fan.
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. If we have to replace a
Exhaust.
fart fan,
Here's the same type of flooring. We use LVT. Try not to put carpet in there. If we are, then it'll typically be like in an
just in
upstairs bed.
bedrooms, yeah.
But that's it. So we have the same exact materials for each house. More of a factory than the HGTV. Now the rehabs that they're doing are great. Just as it's not our model, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, because you're just, I mean, listen, we're not trying to sell it for profit. We're trying to rent it for money,
Yeah.
cash flow. If you
Yeah.
go spend a hellacious amount of money in upgrades, there goes your profit, baby.
There goes your profit, and you're not
Yeah,
going to
that ain't
get
no
that much
fun.
higher in rent. It's not like you can rent it for, $6,000. It's
Yeah,
only
they're gonna be like, oh, great, look at this. We get this as bonus. We would have bought it without, right? Or we would have rented it without.
hmm
I think that's the number one mistake I see most um, single family guys make. Because on the apartment level, dude, I'm telling you, we are anemic when it comes to fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Like we will have an old countertop that's probably, I don't know, 25 years old. We're like, oh, we can resurface that. Like we don't need to replace the countertop. We just need to resurface it. There's this little thing, stucco thing that we do, this paint thing, and it puts it on epoxy. And
Wow.
dude, when you're all done with it, you're like, oh my god, that thing looks brand new. Yep, exactly. No, we didn't go replace it. No, it
Mm-hmm.
cost us $250 for this, where it would have cost us $800 to do the other. Right?
Yeah.
Caulk and paint, dude. Caulk and paint. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're fanatics on it. But like, but the little things. I always say like little things, like face plates and plugins, resets. Right? If you've got something that looks for us like even on our apartments, if it's old and like the ivory color, the yellow looking ones, right? Or
hmm
the ones that will turn yellow, or any other color, it's white. It's a white faceplate with a nice fresh switch that has no muck or paint or anything on it. That's our standard, right? We call it
That's
our
it.
standard, and it'll be all the way throughout the whole property. Why? Because you know, listen, those things are 12 cents or I don't know what the hell they're cheap,
hmm
and you can get it done. Then now you have and put two tone paint on there. Now it looks fresh.
hmm Yeah.
So that's
Uh,
what the other thing we do. Do you guys do this? The little USB plugs.
hmm.
You should do that, dude. I'm telling you right now, it's a game changer.
They love that, huh?
Put a USB plug in the kitchen and in the bedrooms. And
Okay.
you can get them if you buy them from your whatever the hell you just said it was. You probably get it cheap. I'm telling you, that's a big as we're bringing our leasing people to through our units. We make sure we point it out. Hey, check this out. Just to let you know, because all these older buildings, even when hell, I got a new house. I mean, I say new, 2008, right?
Yeah.
It's not new now, but I mean, like this is, you know, I don't have any of those plugins. I didn't install them,
No.
but everybody has freaking phones and stuff that needs juice,
Yeah.
and that's one of my biggest like bumps. Just like as far as customer satisfaction is adding those one in the bedrooms. Only need one, and one in the kitchen. And dude, it's like it's gold, dude. Straight up, they're like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just gets
It's
that's the reaction.
upgrades, right? It probably costs you maybe like 25 more cents, maybe 50 cents more to buy those little,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
USB plug
yeah.
port.
They used to be really expensive. Now they're not, right?
No,
Now
they're not.
they're because everybody has them, or at least they're out there. But and
Mm.
they don't do. I mean, it's all they have is two little plugins for the little USBs, and dude, but that makes everybody happy.
Yeah. Got to have juice in your phone. I like
Yeah,
that.
man. Yeah. Look at me
So,
teach. Look at me throw some bombs, bro.
right? Right? I like it. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of like a snapshot of our process. We like to have our schedules, our scopes, our personnel, like
Yeah,
who's
I love that scope thing. I think that's when you say communication, and that's what it means. Like, because I'm just thinking to myself, back when I was flipping properties and going through doing rehab in general, it's always like, gosh damn it, why would you do this? Right? Like, come on, man. When have we
hmm
ever done this? And you
hmm
decided that this was a good idea, right?
Yeah.
But if I would have had a scope, because honestly, the biggest problem was me. I
Hmm.
wasn't available. I wouldn't answer my phone. Act like I was busy or something. you know.
Hey,
So it
yeah,
happens.
communication is important in construction, and that's how we keep it more tight knit. We also used one place for communicating, and that's Voxer.
Voxer.
And Voxer is a really good app. A lot of people are using it now, but if you're not, it's a great place to do short videos. You can talk to text, you can text, you can put files in. Um,
And you just have your GC part of that, right? So you can say, hey, here's what
yeah,
I want to do with this property right here. I need to change this and fix this.
yeah.
Done.
We
Right?
create for every property that we're renovating and or turning, we create a just a file, a group text, and the file could be named 123 Main Street Rehab, and then the use, which is like buy and hold. And then in there, it has everybody that's going to touch the property: the construction manager, the crew lead, the leasing agent, the inspector, quality control, construction coordinator. Um,
Attaboy. Now we're getting those are nuggets, dude.
these are nuggets. So,
That's a nugget, man.
so we use Voxer every day, every day.
Yeah.
And now we're doing an even added step is like every Monday, a voice or I just put a text in, what's your goal this week and what do you need from me? And they're going to tell you what they need from you, what their goal is. So maybe the goal this week is to wrap up phase two, start working on mechanicals, getting the HVAC in, whatever it is, because their
Right.
goal is to get that done because they want to get paid for that phase. Um, Sometimes they might have issues that day, like, hey, this came up after I removed this plumbing. Now we have a leak. Here's what's going on. It's going to be a change order. Um, and then you can start negotiating pricing from there.
Yeah.
So it's just immediate, instant communication, um, and you have it all kind of in a history there, so that if there's any questioning of, well, you said this, but no, I said that, it's right here in the chat.
Yeah. So one more other question. So this is not even to do with your flipping or your turnkey models or anything like that. I want to talk about your partnership with your partner, Dave. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is something you guys have done a really good job in managing that, and I want to commend you for that. I think that's one of the things when I look at the way you guys operate. It is from a standpoint of obviously I think there's a lot of communication in what you guys are doing, and you've been very open and honest and transparent with each other. But
Yep.
can you speak to that a little bit and how that's worked for you guys, and what do you think the key is for your success in that partnership?
So yeah, you just hit on one of them. One of them is open communication. um, Dave and I, when we first met, we were buddies before we started to join forces, right? And so there's that level of communication that you need to have with your partner. Has to be open, has to be like, hey, um, we've had plenty of conversations where it's like, tough conversations, right?
Did you like you
Abs-
ordered the code red? I know you did. Say it.
yeah, I mean, it's been like that, or it's been, oh man, you messed up. It's like I failed, right?
Right.
Failed here. I didn't show up to this, or it's my mistake. I hit the wrong number on a wire or something, right? I coded this wrong, or it could be anything, and this happens daily. So
Yeah.
you like,
Because
there's
it's
got that.
that's real stuff that happens.
Yeah, so that the communication's got to be open, and the best thing to do is just have that. If you don't have that with your partner, it's probably the wrong partnership.
Do
But
you guys schedule time to talk about stuff like that? Like you're
yeah,
just like,
sometimes it's on the spot. Sometimes it's like, hey, I got a couple minutes. I want to run this by you.
yeah.
Uh, we have a lot of same page meetings pretty much daily. We
But do
have.
you guys do like so? Because I've seen most of the time like you have your own little place where you hang, and then he's got a little place where he hangs. Like he
Mhm.
does mainly this responsibility, you do this responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll talk about that. So that's kind of, we call that the lanes, right? So he has
Yeah.
his own lane, which he thrives in more of a sales type environment. And then so he's in charge of like acquisitions and sales.
Yep.
And then I'm over in the rehab management and property management world. And then until we can find leaders to be there in those departments, we're going to oversee that. And I'm actually the integrator. If you read the book, Traction and
Yeah.
implemented that, I'm actually the integrator, and he's more of the visionary.
Okay.
Right now, we have a couple of people in the business that um, are fairly new to the managerial role. So he plays a key part in what he strives in sales and raising money and stuff like that. So he stays in that lane. And sometimes when he has some breakthroughs or maybe some challenges, we'll get together and say, hey, this is what's going on with 123 Main Street. We got title issue here, and it's probably going to close on this date. Thinking about, whatever it is, getting using funding from this source to close it and then double close it, and we could sell like that. And then we'll talk about numbers real quick and then
Let's
agree.
try to strategize what we think we're going to do with this property.
Correct. Yeah.
Because once he turns it over to RJ know what he doing. Right?
Yes.
I've got it from here, boss. You got me.
Right.
I'll take it to all the way to home. Right.
Right. And so we didn't really know, like,
that's really cool though.
At first in the partnership, we were kind of doing everything. We would have like a list of stuff to do. And then we would kind of like, all right, I'm going to attack that. You attack this.
Right.
Well, nowadays it's, we know
Stay
what
in your lane, right?
Yeah. We know what we excel in. So he's staying here where he excels and I stay here. So you really got to understand what makes your partner tick.
Hey man, I'm doing this with my wife. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
She thinks she owns, right. She owns all the lanes. Okay. I'm just a little cog in the wheel here, but honestly, that's been a really thing for us because I'm an a-hole most of the time when I don't know why I am. I love my wife, but when we work together, it's like, oh gosh, dang, like I become an a-hole and she's not friendly.
Yeah.
Right. But we've actually started transitioning to saying, hey, honey, here's your role, and I'm gonna let you do. Like I'm not even gonna go into that. Like you go perform it, right? Because she's got sales and management experience. I just want to be the CEO of I just want to be the visionary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we've actually started to figure that one out. And I'm kind of trying to model what you guys are doing because I think you have done it really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know each other now more than ever. And it's basically because we understand our profiles. We did a culture index profile. You can do DISC or you can do preventive or predictive index, whatever it is you're going to do, definitely do it. So you know how your partner's ticking.
Yeah. How they're wired, right?
How they're wired. Right. And we do that now when we hire. Before it was just like, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Oh, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Let's hire.
Yeah. And you don't even know like who they are, right?
Yeah. You could be hiring a freaking psychopath. Who knows?
Yeah, that's something we've changed too. We got that from Traction as well.
Yeah.
Traction. Let's talk about Traction for a minute.
Yes.
Great book, right?
Right. Yeah. Let's segue into that. So the implementation was earlier this year. We had taken bits and pieces of Traction and tried to implement it ourselves. You can do that, but I highly recommend for the fastest results. It's just
Who did you have come help you?
We had Sharper Solutions. Gary.
Okay, Gary's getting ready to come to my shop.
Oh, he's gonna be awesome.
We did a trade out, so it was great. So he's gonna come to my boardroom, and I still gotta owe him a little bit of money, but like I'm super jazzed about it because I know that it'll we're already dealing with it. We're trying to get there, but we're doing it on we've read the book as a team.
Yeah.
But we need someone to come and facilitate it for us and get us really glued, and because we've not actually done the work to find our culture, stuff like that. So
there's nobody better, I think. In my opinion, he's got the real estate experience.
Yeah.
And he has seen so many other real estate organizations. He's gonna completely be a game changer for you guys.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So we did that in December, and then he's still providing some ongoing training. And then what it did is it just gives you more clarity and organization.
Here's where we're going. Here's the vision. we're rowing the boat this way. Here's your spots. Here's what we're going to add down the road. Here's the pieces that we need, as
Hmm.
you know, as we have a growth model, right?
Yeah.
Everything's kind of like planned out. It's just planning. And then having the right people in the right seats.
Yeah. And the people that are really good in your business, they need that. They're actually wanting that.
Yeah.
They want you as the owner to have your shit together, you
Yeah.
know? And
Well,
it's,
listen, my training looks like this. You jump in the seat and good luck,
yeah,
right?
seriously. We all have that.
We've been process mapping now, and we're still doing a horrible job, but we're getting. I mean, we're tackling it, but it is a big deal to get what's out of your head onto paper that's workable,
Yeah. Yeah.
for us.
So,
And as we keep we keep changing it too. We're like, oh well, that doesn't work, so let's
mhm.
redesign, retool.
That's always something. We're changing something almost daily in our business of what
Yeah,
we've learned. Because it's in real estate, you learn on every deal. That's why it
right.
is.
You either win or you learn, right? You never lose.
Yes. Yeah, you never lose. You win. I like that. You're full of one-liners today. Come on now.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, I had my cup of coffee, and I took my power drink,
Yeah.
my pre-workout. It's kicking in, really good right now. I played racquetball. I won 2 games out of 3. I mean, I'm living my dream right now.
Oh, we still need to hit that racquetball up. I have a feeling you're pretty good at that.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a little couple lessons for sure.
All
It'll be
right.
fun. Watch a guy in shape get beat by a guy that's not so much in shape.
Well, it's all about it's positioning. If you know about it and the angles, which sounds like you do.
I'll be able to show you a couple things.
All right.
It'll
Well,
This will be a fun experience. I want to tape it, and then I'm gonna
no,
play it
yeah, no,
every
we
time I say like, "Hey, remember this shot right here, dude?"
do a live Facebook, right? Facebook Live.
Oh, we should have Dave do it. We should have Dave.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Dave with the Facebook Live, just watching us go at it.
yeah, no,
Yeah, that'll be fun. Cool. Hey, listen, RJ. So if people want to get a hold of you and figure out what you guys are about, how do they find you?
the best thing to do is everybody has Facebook and Instagram, right? So my Instagram handle is just at RJ Pepino. And then if you click a link on the bio, you can get to our ColumbusTurnkey.com website. And then also we have a meetup locally here in Columbus. It's called The Cream, a really awesome group of real estate investors that are doing deals, are funding
Because the
deals
cream rises to the top, right?
where the air is crisp, buddy. So that's the easiest way to find me. I'll connect with you. You can also find me on Facebook, just RJ Pepino. That's spelled Pepino.
Rock and
Easy.
roll, bro. Easy, dude. Listen, man. Hey, thanks a lot for coming on the show and give us that insight. I mean, you actually gave the really couple really choice nuggets. Even the Voxer,
Yeah,
project management, even in your relationship with your partner. Dude, all that makes so much sense. And dude, I'm very proud of what you guys are doing, and I see really the turn in your. We've both seen it in each other. Our evolution
yeah,
of our businesses as we've grown and matured into to real companies, real organizations with people and staff and responsibilities. But what a great game to play, right?
I love it.
Like we're
Right?
playing Monopoly, dude. And I see you guys starting to. You'll trade in those greenhouses eventually for those fat red ones, right? Those hotels or those apartments. I see it in your future. I really want you guys to do a deal with me. We'll figure that out one of these days. But again, thanks again for coming on. For everybody listening, listen. You know, I love apartments. You guys know this about me, but there's more than one way to get there. And so RJ has a really good business model for doing and buying rental properties, and it works for him. And like that's a great way. It doesn't have to be with apartments. Now I'm jaded in that spot. I think you can get there faster, right? But listen, everybody starts with you start with what you know, and sometimes in the interim of doing these even bigger apartment deals, sometimes you need some cash in between.
Right.
And so learning the wholesale business is not a bad idea. learning how to make some quick fat profit is not a bad idea because it's all about choices. But guys, more importantly than anything else is your mindset. I talk about this each and every episode. I always do it at the end because I truly believe, Dave, RJ, am I right? Like when you bought into the idea, is that not like when your life started to change?
It's absolutely right. The only reason why I got to new levels in this business is my mindset and is personal development. This is the most important piece because if you don't have that, the tough times will derail you.
Yeah,
It'll force
and
you to.
they're coming. Winter is coming for all of us. Okay,
Yeah,
it's Games of Thrones for everybody, right? You will have your dragons will come and rain fire on you. I'm telling you. And they meet your friend one day, and all of a sudden they're not. It happens. Everybody dies, and then you get rebirth like Jon Snow. Okay, and you come back better, stronger. Okay, um, but guys, listen. It is about mindset. If you believe it, you can achieve it, and your paradise is possible.